Hi, I am Sentimus Prime, and here I'll be showing you some last-minute changes I've made to these separate MOCs. Now, full context. After doing separate videos for each one of these MOCs, I was I was recording to combine all these stuff and review one of the combinations, but due to some engineering oversights, I had to postpone that video and modify these MOCs, and I'll be showing you the differences, like the adjustments I made to these MOCs. Now, starting off, to get this one out of the way, I'm going to get Dynastriker out of the way because I've changed nothing on him, on Dynastriker. Dynastriker is the same as it was in the first video, so I'll put that one aside. So, we'll actually be starting off with Dynadiver. Now, Dynadiver hasn't been really changed a whole lot. For the thighs, I swapped the parts out for some flat tiles to swap out the unique, specially molded fake parts for some flat pieces, for some official Lego parts. And I don't think it looks too bad. Now back here, I did swap the jumper plates for these tiles to smooth these sections out. And back here, I've also changed out the parts back here, so they're using more official parts now. Like little things like that. But the only major thing I've changed on Dynadiver is the yellow claw things under here. Because if you saw the before video, you would see that these were on a complex series of hinges, and it was quite fiddly, and some of the claw pieces would come off due to them being one-stud connections. Now, I did fix it up so it does compact nice and neatly, and if I want to spread the claws apart, I just do this. Now, I think that's more of a illegal. I don't know if it's an illegal building technique or not. I think it is. But it was either that or the complex series of hinges that would way too fiddly. So I think this is a decent enough trade-off. And with that, I think I've covered everything on Dynadiver. I didn't really change a whole lot aside from the claws. Okay, so then Dynasoldier. I didn't really change a whole lot on this one either. The one major change is, well, first of all, I swapped this part out from a 2x3 plate to a 2x4 plate to hopefully add a little more stability. But more importantly, I've swapped out the dark gray clip pieces with these 1x2 gray plates. So not only does it attempt to look slightly more accurate, just by a little bit, but I've also replaced the connection system between Soldier and Dyna Wing. But that was like really the only thing I changed with that, and I'll be showing off that connection later on. Dyna Wing. Dyna Wing is where the most change has happened. Like most of the change has mostly went to the... Now first of all, I'll be talking about the stand. The stand is pretty simple. I made it using some Technic parts. It connects to Dyna Wing via one stud. You can like put the stud under there, and you can, and because on one side you can like rotate this around, and because it can move forward and back a little bit, it can, that can also like go into the, you're like, so it's kind of a little bit of a stand articulation sort of thing. But anyways, with that out of the way, let's talk about the changes I've done for Dyna Wing, because Dyna Wing, out of the four, I've changed Dyna Wing the most. And it's mostly for the midsection, because before, the midsection was like incredibly like fragile, and when I would like willy-nilly move these around, the midsection would like come apart. So I did do a few changes there. Now first of all, I'll be talking about some of the lesser changes I made. I swapped these out from the plates to some tiles to smooth this out a bit. And for here, I've replaced those cones, and I flipped around, replaced the cones with these cylinder pieces to add, because before these would really easily come off on before. But anyways, with that, we can flip this thing over, and I can show you that first of all, you don't have those annoying little hinge pieces sticking out anymore, and it looks so much cleaner from the underside. I really liked how that turned out. You see, it looks really nice. Like, let me like take these off. Like, see how nice and flat that is. Like, that's pretty cool. Now, what I've done to stabilize, to better secure this, is I did raise everything back here up by a plate. So like back here is like a bit thicker, and that's honestly alright. Doesn't change the look too much, and it does overall add to the stability. And because I done that much stability, I was able to clean this up a good bit. So we have that. Now, those are the changes I made to the MOCs themselves. Now let me show you. Now, because of all these modifications, I've changed up the connections between Dyna Soldier and Dyna Wing, because that connection, I believe I might have said, like, I don't know if I already mentioned this, but the connection, like, out of the three separate modes, the connection between Dyna Soldier and Dyna Wing was the most frustrating for me, because of the hinges and stuff. But I swapped the hinge stuff out for more studs and stuff, anti-studs and stuff. So to connect to those, first I'll be bringing in these. Yes, it does require even more parts for me. So I have these little assemblies. They're just snot pieces on 1x2 plates. Pretty simple stuff. Now to connect this on, now let me show you. Yeah, I'm going to be showing you how to combine these two now that I've changed up the connections. So first of all, we're going to be taking these sections off from underneath, and obviously readjust the wings in that position, a position more like that. Alright, so yeah, leave that back there for now. And what I'm going to be doing back here is rotate this jaw piece up like that. Take these little parts, add them on top of here, like so. And then take these sections, swivel them around, and then what you're going to do is attach the gray studs on like so, on these anti-studs right here. So like that. So we have sort of intake look going on. Then obviously we swivel these around to obviously expose the sticker details again. And then after that we can combine them. Obviously you put the tail, put the tail straight down, and then what you're going to do is you're going to connect these white studs over to these round stud like connections. So you're basically going to be connecting it like so. And isn't that so much easier? And then we have the new and improved version of the Dyna Soldier and Wing combination model. And I think it looks way better than it did before. However, because it's no longer, it's like not able to stand on its own. Like you can see that it's just struggling to, yeah, it simply can't stand on its own 2 feet. The back is way too heavy because it has an entire build behind it as well. But with the Dyna Striker combination mode, at least the majority of the mass was like on top of Dyna Soldier. Here, Dyna Wing is just behind there. So unfortunately, I had to make something else. I had to make the stand because this stand is actually required for this mode. I know, kind of sad, but hey, I think it's a worthy enough sacrifice because I feel like that this mode is really meant to be in the air. So it's really not that terrible of a sacrifice. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to take this little black section off of here. Whoops. Set aside. Turn this around. Then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to connect the tail back here and connect it to the studs. Then straighten it out. And now we have Dino Soldier on a stand. It is connected in nicely and all that, and it can move back and forth. So now we can connect Dino Wing onto Dino Soldier like so, and not the greatest connection, really isn't, but hey, now we got a proper looking Dino Soldier wing combination. Which and I do think the look has been improved over the original. Again, not really that stable. But I do think it turned out pretty nicely. And not only that, but the stand can pose a little bit, can articulate a little bit, so that can leave you to a bit of articulation. You can, it's a nice way to like increase, to just can put this into some nice display poses and stuff. It does look nice. At least I think it does. Connections, not the greatest, but I do like the changes I've done. Whoops. Sorry about that, soldier. And let me take... Whoops. Now let me take these off. Now taking these sections off is not really that big of a deal. It's just like that. Not really a whole lot going. And because I designed it like so, these can also be attached up here for another mode that I'll get to at a later date. Now, before I go, there is a couple things I like to mention. First of all, for Dino Wing, it's not just this little stand. I also made, for Dino Wing, I also made this weird structure, this weird looking stand that uses these so-called Galador joints. I've heard these referred to as Galador joints, so that's what I'm calling them. And so what's going to happen here is like this block up here is going to attach somehow. Yeah, it will just attach there. I think I do need to add like Yeah, I might need to add like a 2x2 plate up there. But I can like set up like anyways. I'm gonna have to add a 1x2 plate. No, a 2x2 plate up there to add a better connection to there. But if I bounce it on, this can work for Dynawing, and I have this stand made for Dynawing. Now, something I do like to mention is, so when I was like redesigning the combination mode, I tried designing it on this stand, and it simply did not work for this stand because it was far too back heavy. That's why I had to end up making a whole new stand for it and all that. But for like one last thing, I feel like this can also be a sort of flight stand for Dino Soldier in its dynamic cannon form. So I'm quickly stuff just likes to fall apart. It's Lego. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly transform this thing, add a yellow piece on, do that. Take these off. These just love coming off now. Alright, then move those back. And so we basically have this going on. And I guess if you want, you can also like attach this to like back here. So I can like attach the arms back here. To make it at least a little bit more accurate or whatever. So the tail handle thing is going to connect onto the flight stand. And now we can actually have something to hold the dynamic cannon. Trying to do random stuff with the dynamic cannon. I don't know, never mind. This works. And I think that's turned out nicely. The stand can work not only for Dynawing, but it can also work for the dynamic cannon mode and for the combination between these Dino Soldier and Dino Wing. And I think that turned out decently enough. And with that, I think that'll be it. I will be eventually do a video for the Dynarex and even the dynazenon MOC, parts of these MOCs. And now, thanks to these modifications, I can now guarantee that they'll stay together that they won't come completely apart during transformation. So that'll be it. If you enjoyed this video, please consider to like and subscribe, and maybe even comment if you want to. And of course, I will be posting again sooner or later.